Hello, all you cyberheads.
The House will be in order.
It's yours, your house. It's yours, your house. All yours, your house. All yours, your house. Looks so good, smells so nice. It's your private paradise. It's yours, your house.
Cryptocurrency is gambling. It's not investing.
Changing demeanor? I didn't notice.
All right, good morning. Welcome to R&B Talk on a Thursday. My name is Steve Gooseby.
Good morning. It's your girl, the most powerful Mel E.B. Goose.
That's right. We got a great show for the folks today.
Goose, I don't know, but I can't hear myself.
You can't hear
I
yourself.
can't. No, I don't know. What is going on?
I don't know.
Tap. Is this thing on?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on. Did I get stabbed into it?
Are you in the right
Oh, my
slot for the
gosh.
headphones?
Nah, first of all, when I plugged it in, whoever was deaf was in there. And then I turned it down. I guess I turned it down too
come
well.
on now. It's too early for you. And you're drinking that Red Bull. Hey, don't do what Red Bull does.
I
Just
got
don't
wings.
do what Red
Why
Bull
every
does.
week you gotta
please.
come after me and my Red Bull. At this point, I do believe we need to get some production and some
Listen.
marketing in here for Red Bull. The amount I do drink, I get wings every Thursday.
Listen, first of all, we got a great show. In case you haven't been following the Karen Reed trial, we're going to get back into that. And the thing about the Karen Reed trial is that the stuff you see on the news, that's not the juice.
It's not.
So we're going to take care of the folks. We got the juice for you.
You got
from
some
the-
juice?
Oh, yes.
And you're not talking about like OJ.
No. Lie City. Lie
Mm.
City. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Karen Reed.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Shador Sanders. As you know, he was
hoodwinked.
supposedly he was supposed to be a first-round draft pick. Didn't get drafted to the 5th round. But then there was a prank call, so we're going to talk about that.
He was hoodwinked.
We're going to talk about the ports
Yeah.
and a few other things. But right now, we do have some special guests, and I'll let you introduce them.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me the honor to introduce to you. We have the Urban Farming Institute in the building. Clap hands.
Clap, 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 clap.
Normally there's a clap making machine. I don't know what happened
Yeah.
to it this week, Goose.
Hey, listen.
Goose is sleeping at the wheel. All right. So who do we have with us today? So today we have our deputy executive. Even her title is fly. Like, I don't know. It just her title just makes me say, what? The deputy executive director, Miss Amber, is with us. And also the lead. I like Farmer Joe title, but his name is really Matt. We're just gonna call him Farmer Matt Joe. But
Absolutely. So thank you for the introduction. As Mel said, my name is Amber. I am the Deputy Executive Director over at Urban Farming Institute. We've got our headquarters right on Norfolk Street in Mattapan. If you haven't come, check us out. All right. We're literally an urban farm smack dab in the middle of the city. Okay. We've got 5 farming sites that we're farming this year specifically. And on each of these sites, we are growing healthy, affordable, accessible, fresh fruits and vegetables.
oh, you speaking Goose's language now.
Okay,
Listen.
Oh
now.
man, you about to
Listen.
go.
So we here.
Wait,
We here.
When
Goose,
you-
do not
when
get
you-
on the soapbox yet, Goose.
No, but
Let's let
when
Matt
you-
talk.
Wait a second.
Listen, hold on.
You got
brought
something
it
to
to
say.
my attention. I was definitely excited because I'm all about fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
You know, the food is terrible nowadays.
Yes, it
So,
is.
Oh, here comes the soapbox.
Hey, I won't get into it yet, but we will.
Yes,
before you
yeah.
leave.
Let's
Yeah.
find out who Matt is and what Matt does. So Matt, tell us who you are.
Yeah, my name is Matt. I'm the assistant farm manager. We have 5 other people who work with us to grow those fruits and vegetables for you at the 5 different sites throughout Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan. So anything food and farming related, that's what I'm working on.
I won't lie. I was driving by this morning, right? And I was like, okay. And I saw the daffodils were starting to push up.
Mhm.
And then I was like, what's that green stuff? I saw a row of green stuff, right? I'm like, how could that already be there? What? So can y'all tell? I know it's a little off, but I'm curious. What was the green stuff that I saw pushing up out of the ground? I'm like, it's way too. How did y'all get it to grow so fast? Well,
Yeah,
what is that?
Take it away.
Yeah, so that's actually last year's kale. So
Say
we-
what?
Yeah, that was from last
So
year.
wait, that's wait.
It survived.
That-
It's a survivor.
Yo, that is some robust type of so
Yes,
that
ma'am.
survived some snowstorms,
Mhm.
city rats, raccoon, rabbits, and every other kind of whatever species is running around, and that stuff is still kicking and thriving
Yeah,
from last year.
It's not like great to harvest the next year. That's when it will go to seed, and you'll get seeds to grow your kale. But
Okay.
it will survive the winter. Yes, we planted that last fall, and it survived till the spring.
Wow,
I ate some of it the
wild.
other day.
There we
What?
go.
Yeah, it was still good.
How was it? It was
It
good.
was good. Oh, it was good. The
All
spring
right,
stuff was
then.
good. Yeah.
Oh, goose. They got listen. Talk about what do you say always? I want to make sure the food that I'm eating not only comes from the ground and doesn't have GMO and pesticides in it, but I also want to make sure that it's reusable. I guess we can reuse
Listen,
the
I'm
kale
a lot-
last year.
I'm a lot simpler than that. I just want nowadays everything has a number on it. You go in a supermarket, there's a number on it, and the number indicates whether it's organic or whether it's not organic. A majority of it isn't organic at all by any means. So I'm glad we have this farm in the hood, but a lot of people don't know about it. So
Yes.
Yeah.
so talk to us
that's
about, is it a place where we can just stop by and pick up some fresh fruits and vegetables, or what, how do you serve the community?
Absolutely.
Great
So
question.
we serve the community in an array of ways, right?
Yeah.
Number of ways, from intergenerational programming, youth programming, senior programming. We of course have our Farm Stand Fridays that start up end of June. June 27th is our kickoff. If you don't know about it, get about it, know about it. Check us out 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock every Friday through November.
Mm.
Okay, and that's really our hub for distribution of what we grow.
And how
as
does
well
it
as what we
work?
Source. Yeah, Matt, you want to go ahead and tell?
Yeah, so it's a farm stand in the city. So the same way as you pulled up to a farm somewhere in the country and they were selling their vegetables by the side of the road, it's the same deal. The stuff we grow there is for sale every Friday.
So it's like a real organic farmer's market.
Yeah, most of it's harvested, 1 day, 2 days at max. We get it ready and have it for
All
sale
right,
on Fridays.
so let's talk about some uncomfortable stuff here that a lot of people don't want to talk about.
Oh,
Well, no, right? I think it's important. I'm that one.
Same.
You
This is
see-
where I
you
live.
see- You see where he just like, oh God, here comes Mel.
That's
Here
all
we
right.
go.
We
Here
here.
we go. Our community is under attack,
Mhm.
right? We're dealing right now where they're scrubbing everything from SNAP, EBT programming to housing to all these things. So I've heard in the past that you guys accept EBT as a payment because if a family can't afford, let's say they're like, I want the fresh produce. I hear what Goose is saying, and I want to eat these really fresh foods, but Whole Foods is not where it's at for me. I can't afford it, right?
Mm.
Just you step in as soon as you step in, I just feel like I'm just like out of place, right? So how do I fix this? Now you're saying, hey, we're right on Norfolk Street, and starting at the end of June, we're going to be ready and available to you. I got an EBT card. Can you guys accept my EBT card?
That's an easy one. Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely. And so
Apple Pay.
listen,
we do that too.
You
Yeah,
see
we do
it?
that too.
stop
We're
it.
here.
He loves Apple. He swears by Apple
gotta-
Pay.
we are here with the times. And Mel, what you're talking about is really food justice, right? The fact that what you said about going into a Whole Foods and not feeling comfortable, feeling out of place, that's an issue. All right.
Mm.
We've all deserve and should have access to, we've got a right to healthy eating.
Mm.
And the fact that what you said, thinking about when you go to the grocery store, you see a price point difference between just the regular vegetable, but then the organic vegetable. For a lot of folks, you can't afford either,
Mm.
especially not now.
Especially
Sure.
now, and then you got
Yeah,
the ports
that's real.
already
That's
empty, which
real.
we're going to
There
talk
we
about.
go. There we go. And so for us, yes, we accept EBT, we accept SNAP, we accept WIC coupons, farmer
WIC
market
too?
coupons. Yeah.
What?
Yes. So we make our food accessible. And not just that, but thankfully to the graciousness, right, of our funders, our partners, we're also able to offer coupons at the farmers market, at the farm stand. And so anybody
Wow.
walking up, you're gonna automatically start with a discount.
That's amazing.
Yep. So you can walk away if you're coming in for just an item or two. There's quite the possibility you're gonna walk away with that for free.
That's amazing.
Mm.
That's what's
Wow.
up.
Wow.
And this
Right.
is literally, what always blows my mind, Goose, is that when you think about our neighborhoods, right? Always what's put out there is the negative stuff, right? It's the
Mhm.
violence. It's
Yep.
the young people not being, proactively doing positive things, which, when I might add, is really not the case or the story.
No.
There's a few of them that are out there doing wild stuff, but the majority of the young people, they're good kids, because that's my neighborhood, right? And I love
Yes.
my neighborhood. And so I always find it so amazing when I meet people that are coming from my neighborhood that are like, yo, this is what we're doing. Why don't y'all come through? Like I came onto the space and I was like, I want to volunteer. I have a brown thumb. There's nothing green about me. I'm not gonna lie.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Don't trust me with anything that is growing because I'm afraid I might hurt it. But if you're like, hey, we need you to move something or go dig a hole and go help do something, I will do it with pleasure because it's giving back to my community, right? We're in a season of let's stop complaining and be parts of solutions.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I don't understand why any little person should go to bed hungry, especially in a state like ours, but just in general. Right. So knowing that you guys exist, now here's my next question. Do people like jump over the fence in the middle of the night and take your blueberries or something? I'm just curious.
I mean, really, no. I mean,
People are real respectful of the
they are.
state.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
a lot of work, anyways.
That fence ain't that small, right?
That's a lot of work.
But could you imagine somebody 2 a.m. in a black suit like
And that fence ain't that short. So yeah, that's some work.
You know, it's a
no,
lot
I
of
think the
work.
neighbors, we have a good relationship with our neighbors.
so everyone's watching?
And we
and
try
looking out.
to have a good relationship with the people around us because it's in their neighborhood too. It's right next to their house or across the street. They care about it. They're always coming up to the fence asking us, what we're growing this year. Oh, I love the tomatoes. Where are those? Why aren't they here?
Ah,
Like,
okay.
oh no, we still have them. They're just in a different place. But yeah, we see a lot of community members. So I think there's a lot of support.
I love your sunflower seeds in the corner. That's
And I'm sure
my-
you have
that's my
cameras and all that
favorite.
stuff too. Anyways, technology today.
That we do. We do have the
Yeah.
camera, so y'all don't try it. Please don't try it now.
Amber said, "Do you
But I got a
quick
question
farm is
because
about.
you're growing all kinds of stuff over there. You mentioned the kale. What is some of the other stuff that you grow over there? Like, do you have ginger or what's some of the other
Yes,
stuff?
we do.
Yeah, I mean, so we grow, a lot of varieties, different types of tomatoes, different types of kale, but all your main fruits and veggies, we have it. So we did do ginger last year. We did turmeric last year as well in our high tunnel. So that grew really well, actually.
Wow.
We do all the hot peppers you could want, your Scotch bonnets, your habaneros, all that
Oh,
stuff.
you know your neighborhood.
Yes, we know.
Okay.
We also have the callaloo. So that's our number one seller.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
what's the price point? Just give me an idea.
So we do the stuff by a bunch. So, a bunch of greens is $3, but, I would say it's like twice the size of what you get at the grocery store. We want to make sure you get,
Wow.
you want your greens.
it's
bang
you know,
for your
give
buck.
enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I got me a new spot, y'all.
Yes, it
man,
is.
I'm telling
I
you,
got a new
that's
spot.
wild.
Yeah, come early because, you're not the only one who's going to line up and get it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll be there
Yes.
early. Trust me.
That's wild.
Yes.
So do you guys? Okay, so let's talk. So I'll be totally transparent with y'all, right? So I have 3 littles, and my littles love fruit, and unfortunately, some of the large box store name brand that's the winter fruit is horrible. It's horrible. So I'm forced to go to Whole Foods. I'm forced because unfortunately I can't get the same taste, and then my little guy doesn't want it, so it's a waste of money. What are the fruits that you guys? So is it like strawberries? Is it like what do you guys have out there that I could take advantage? You got peaches? Do you have trees that do things? Like I'm curious.
So we have a little bit of our own fruit, but being in the city, we don't have enough space for what you would need for an orchard or like
Okay.
a big berry production. So we, in addition to the stuff we grow, we also partner with other local farms in Massachusetts to buy in fruit. And it's always other vegetables just to make sure we have a big variety at the farm stand every time. So we'll have, raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, peaches, plums, nectarines,
This
kind of
is
you name it all throughout the
Yes.
summer.
Goose.
Yeah.
I have not been
this?
excited in a while about fruit. That is exciting to me.
And that's what we want to do is we want to get our community members, and I'm talking from our littles all the way to our elders, excited about eating healthy, excited about having your fresh fruits, vegetables, and herbs. And something that Matt referenced and I'm really happy about is we're proud to be growing culturally relevant foods as well. So you heard Matt talk about the callaloo, which hails from Jamaica, big in Caribbean culture.
Absolutely.
You go to the grocery store, you're not going to see that. Okay. And you don't know where to find it here. And so what we want to make sure we're doing is asking our community members, what are you enjoying that we have? What don't you see? What would you like to see at our farm stand? And if it's possible to grow in this environment, in this climate, we're going to try it.
Pineapples, watermelon.
And there he goes.
I'm like, can we get a pumpkin patch? Because pumpkins are real cool in October.
Yeah.
I'm just
Listen,
saying.
and we do distribute watermelons.
We
Yeah,
do, we
Stop
do
it.
the pumpkins, we can do the watermelons. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the pineapples, maybe not yet.
Maybe
I
not
know.
yet.
I know you're
All
asking
right.
for a
Slow,
lot.
slow your roll. Slow your
Hey,
roll.
listen.
Who's like, wait a minute. Listen, we can grow the
The
inside.
bananas,
And
not,
That's
yet, not yet.
Not
You
yet.
walk in the supermarket, like Star Market, for example. You walk in, the fruit and vegetables section is right there, and all the stuff that's not good or that's not organic is right in the front of the store.
Absolutely.
true.
So people stop there first. You know what I mean?
True.
Absolutely. And you talk about organic, something else that we're really excited about, and you might wonder, how do you do it, right? We ask ourselves that too. We are not relying on pesticides. We are not relying on pesticides. It's something that sets us apart from a lot of other farms, because they're like, you can't grow in the city without spraying your vegetables, spraying your plants with pesticides. We absolutely negate that fact.
and they make it so normal that pesticides is okay.
There we go.
And that stuff, you don't
It's
even
not
have
normal.
to. You don't even have to show me that it causes cancer. Probably all the other stuff,
Here
diet.
comes
You
the
know.
soapbox,
It-
y'all.
it-
We
listen.
know it's not good for us. And
Amber,
so
don't
Good
feed
on.
Amber, please.
You see, I can't stop. I can't stop.
No, it's not you stopping. It's him going to the soapbox. That's where I'm going.
Listen,
I'm
it's
glad
not
you're talking.
it's
Google
reality.
to the
Don't
soapbox.
don't take
He
part
not
in what's
lying.
going on.
Listen.
Don't take part in it. I'm telling you.
And so when
It's
people
a
say you
problem.
can't do it, yes, you can. It's a lot more
So
work.
okay, so now I'm curious. Do you have like, I always think of like these Disney movies and like the groundhog or the gopher that
groundhogs.
goes in and keeps stealing things from the garden. Do you guys have these rodent
Ooh.
I don't know what do you are they rodents? I don't know, what do you call them? What do we call them?
They might be. The groundhogs are.
So you
a
really do have
nuisance.
groundhogs?
We do
Yeah.
have groundhog. We
Oh,
have two
s-
groundhogs,
we got-
yeah.
we
Wait, you have two?
Two
Did you
different-
guys name them?
We have not
We
named
have
them.
it.
Maybe you need to name them because then maybe they might be more obedient. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
You're
stop
lying.
eating our.
Or maybe
plants.
not.
Are they part of the family to the point you just put something aside for them,
Or they just
Listen,
steal
at this
stuff.
point,
It's that
they run
easy.
it. I'm like, they run the farm at this point. They're like, this is my space. Y'all in my
Yeah.
house. Y'all are in my house. But even with that, again, we make it work. And something else that I'd love to, put a plug in for. So we have a raised bed program, right?
What's that?
So our raised beds, what we do is we literally provide the wood, the soil, sometimes even seeds and seedlings so that folks can grow at home. They have that
Mm.
autonomy to grow at
Oh.
home, grow what they want at home, grow where they want at home. And we provide it at this point, thankful again to our funders, our partners. We're able to provide that free of charge to residents of Mattapan, Roxbury, and Dorchester specifically.
Wait. Stop.
yes,
Stop. Did
ma'am.
you just she just gave $1 million worth of game for $9.99.
You see that?
Listen, this
Hold
whole
on,
interview
hold
is $1 million
hold-
worth of game. For
Hold
real.
on a second.
And there's more.
What? No,
And there's more.
I didn't know. Like, I'm not even trying to be dramatic on, I
Yeah.
did not know. So if I can show you that I live in the neighborhood, right? I prove this, that I'm not coming from like Salisbury or Braintree or something like that,
Absolutely.
right? And I'm living in the neighborhood, and I say to you, I really would like to try my hand at this gardening thing. And I'm interested in lettuce, and I'm interested in sage, and I'm interested in turmeric. I don't know. Call me out, right?
Yeah.
You guys actually already have little seedlings that have already started their little journey.
And we're gonna talk about our seedling sale too. But yes, and so for the raised beds, don't get me wrong, y'all, because I can never promise anything, right?
Right.
A lot of folks are interested, and so we're working off of a list. But yes, this is something that over the next 2 years, we're able to provide. We just work our way down that list. So if you're interested, please definitely get in contact with us. And then that's partnered as well with the program that we started up last year, run by our fabulous Melanie Floyd, who's a wonderful team member.
Your volunteer coordinator.
Our volunteer
So you're
coordinator
Mel.
and more.
Mel.
Yes,
so right.
that
So
Mel.
we had a Mel moment, right? I was like, Mel,
Yeah.
right? So we had that moment last year, and then we met again on the farm. And,
Yes.
and of course, when you meet so many people, it's hard to keep people in spots, right? And I was like, Mel. She's like, oh my God, I'm Mel. I'm like, yes, I know we did this before. She goes, then it's genuine. I was like, oh, you're good people. I knew
is.
immediately she was good people.
She's
I
a
knew
vibe.
immediately.
She's good people. She
Yeah.
leads this grow series. And what we do is anybody who gets a raised bed, or even if you're already growing at home, we invite you to come participate in the grow series. It's essentially,
Do I got to pay for the grow series?
No, sis.
Wait,
it's
that's
free.
free? That's
It's
free too?
Free. It's free.
Goose.
Come get some share
So
some
you ain't
knowledge.
selling nothing to
Share some
You're just trying
knowledge,
to get
learn
us
techniques.
healthy.
Yes, about how to grow at home. And
Wow.
it's a
Growing's a good thing.
growing's a good thing.
Just me personally, I just want to go pick it up.
because you that guy.
You know.
you
that
want
guy.
easy. You want easy. You
Yeah.
want accessible.
Yeah, I want easy.
He's the Apple Pay guy.
You know.
You know,
You
then
know?
see us at the
Right.
farm
There you
stand.
go. I'm
And,
gonna
you know,
have
we
to
got
pick up.
something for everybody. You want to come see just it being ready already?
Right.
Come to the farm stand. You want to grow at home? visit us at Grow Series. Okay.
Wow,
And then we
okay.
also can talk about our seedling sale, which is coming up too.
Yeah, so if you as Amber was saying, we want to get you growing at home. So like you can come buy our stuff on Fridays, but you can also grow stuff in your backyard, windowsill, wherever. So yeah, on the
So it's apartment.
So
like
when-
you could do it in.
oh,
an
you can
apartment?
do something. You can't grow your full size ginger plant in there, but you can grow a lot of herbs, even lettuce maybe on the windowsill. You can do some stuff even with
That's
very
amazing.
limited.
And what are
space.
the hours again to come by?
Yes, 9 to 4 is when we're open, but for the farm stand, that's going to be Fridays 1 to 5.
So
Starting
only
June
on
27th.
Fridays.
Only on Fridays.
Okay, I got.
I can't kind of jump
gotta
in
lock
there
that
on
in.
Wednesday, be like, can I just borrow a
No,
little
I
bit of
mean,
kale?
I gotta lock
I
that
just need a
in.
little. I just need a
We
little for
prefer
my
you not.
smoothie.
There we
People
go.
will, but you know.
We're a
You
small
have
team.
cards and all that stuff. Please leave your info. Just
We will definitely leave our information. Definitely leave
Yeah.
our information.
Yeah.
And
I
sometimes
know.
if you're
I
walking
want
by,
a,
you'll
now
see
I want a
free fruits and
t-shirt. I
vegetables.
ain't gonna even lie. I'm like,
We should've brought-
We should have brought some. We'll make sure
T-
y'all get some
Them
t-shirts.
t-shirts are kind of fly. I like the
Okay.
t-shirt. I'm gonna support the t-shirts.
We gonna make
So
y'all-
this is all right.
No,
so
this is beautiful.
This is
This
listen,
is
you're
great.
speaking his language. Look, he's smiling.
I
He
love
does. This guy
this.
does not smile very often.
Listen.
We're honest.
Listen,
Unless
stop,
it's about sports.
stop it.
Sports or
Ah.
crypto. Listen,
Stop
if
it.
it's sports or
Crypto.
crypto. My
Stop it.
man's is over there gleaming. But anything
Stop.
else, he's like, yeah. So this is what we're gonna do because I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Ah.
So I love this that we're seeing.
I'm gonna let her have her moment. Right
Like, I'm
Yeah,
gleaming
that's
over
right.
here.
I'm gonna let you have it.
So here's my question. Let's talk real quick. So you got a grow series, and is that starting soon?
That's already started.
Okay.
Yep.
So is that on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? How does that work?
Yep. So typically Saturdays or Sundays, we do maybe once, if not twice a month.
Okay.
And you can take a look at our website, urbanfarminginstitute.org, find that information. You'll see the dates posted as well as the times.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm.
And then if let's say, because I'm not gonna lie, I want to volunteer. I don't know anything about farming. I cannot promise you that I got brown thumbs.
Mel, stay where you belong.
I know, but
Don't-
I really
listen.
I want to
listen.
help.
Don't you do her
not-
like that.
Do not get in the way of what's already great.
Why
Okay.
you coming for my life?
Why you doing her like that? Go ahead, Mel.
Farm. I want to be Farmer Mel. I want to
Okay.
get
All
the
right.
hat.
All right.
Listen,
Try
I'm
it.
not- I'm
Try
There
it.
we go.
Listen,
Try it at
listen,
home first.
Listen, I've gone to Home Depot twice. Okay, twice this
That's
season.
2 more than 0.
Right?
So you're doing
I've
something.
never been to Home Depot that many times and been in the garden section and been lost.
There you
I'm
go.
not even gonna lie. Shout out to Jerome who helped me out because I was like, bro, I don't want to kill it. What do I do?
It
He's
takes
like,
a village.
right. He's like, this is what you're gonna do. This is what you feed. Don't feed it too much. He's like,
Last thing I need to hear is that something's not good this week.
and then right, I'm not gonna lie. When I was up there, I said to the young lady, there was a young lady in your greenhouse, right? I said, has anyone ever snuck on the property and tried to put a weed plant or two in the corner
Stop.
that no one would notice since now it's legal in Massachusetts? She's like, no. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone would try.
No,
I'm like, the
not around
soil-
here. Yeah.
the soil looked really good. Like it looked healthy. It looked like everything was blooming. And I will tell you, Goose,
Yep,
when
yep.
you go on the property, there's all this amazing like concrete work, right? Because I
Yes.
saw there's a sign there that the house or the farmhouse has been there since the 1800s.
The Clark House.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
like all of our land used to actually belong to the farm, Goose.
Mhm.
So I'm talking as far as the eye could see, past West Selden had to have
Yeah.
been farmland.
Yes, it was. And you can take a look at that depiction actually in the house, the Clark House you're talking about. We have something we call the mural room, which depicts Mattapan, this area specifically years ago. And so the stonework that you're also talking about, Fowler Clark Epstein Farm, which is what our headquarters is named after the last 3 major owners over the last 200 years.
Mm.
And the
Ah.
Epstein specifically, he prided himself on being a salvager. And so those pieces
Oh,
you
so
see,
that are built into the wall.
Yes.
So did he,
he
himself
picked those
put,
up. He
Yeah.
put
did
them
he
there
put
himself.
them himself?
Yes, he did.
That's wild.
And they've been there since. And so we don't touch it. It's a historic site as well. So we definitely have to make sure we preserve the
Wow.
site. And so what you see is the work he did.
That's amazing.
Right.
Because it's like this eclectic kind of thing. You're like, how does
It
this?
is. It-
Mhm.
I'm confused a little bit, but okay.
he liked it. And so we love it. You know, he got-
You like it. I love it.
That's
I
it.
get
That's
it.
it.
But I
So-
was trying to figure out where and how that
Yeah.
played into the farm. But wow.
Yep. So we preserve it. We keep
That's
it just
super
as
dope.
is. Yep. And down there too, in that area where those pieces are is what we call our secret garden. You're also going to see a stone table, right? And what that is it's a way to honor everybody that was a part of the restoration process, restoring that site, 487 Norfolk Street, that farm. Anybody who had a hand in that is honored on that table. So again, if you come on the farm, take a look around the stone table, you're going to see everybody's name.
Because I'll tell you, as a kid, it didn't look like that. As a
That's
right,
real.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm born,
It didn't.
raised, educated Boston. I'm a Bostonian through and through. When I was a kid, it was scary looking.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, nothing was being done on the land. It was just the scary wooden house that looked like it was haunted, and it was pushed back.
Yep.
It was pushed back some. So I know you guys have done some, I don't know whether it was salvaging and making sure stuff stayed where it was. Like, I don't know what y'all have done, but there's definitely been some removing or moving or searching of stuff, because when I was a kid, it didn't look like that at all.
No, I mean, we were able to do things like a paint job, but again, because it's a historic site, it's important that we preserve it as it was. So we were able to add the greenhouse, which, as Matt mentioned, that's where all of our seedlings are, that as well as our Fabian Street greenhouse too. We've got 2 of them. Yep, we've got 2 of them. So we were able to add that structure. But the barn, the house you see, those are original to the
That's
farm.
amazing. Do you guys have anything to do with what's on Edgewater? Is that you guys as well too, or is that
We
somebody
don't.
different?
No, I got somebody different.
So that's somebody
Yeah.
different
Someone
over
different.
there. Okay, because there's like flowers and things happening over there too.
What's the traffic like though, in terms of like, is the community? I know you mentioned the community, but I mean, what's the traffic like in terms of folks knowing about the farm? Because I never even knew you existed over there at all.
Listen, that's a great question. Farm stand, our numbers were in the 200s regarding attendees last year. So more and more people are coming, but it's interesting to see people still don't know who we are.
And that's in
that
the
we're
day
there.
you're talking about?
That's
But
in the day.
are they from our neighborhood? That's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
question.
yes.
Like, is it our neighbor? Is it my neighbors that are coming to the farm stand, or is it people from surrounding towns that know the farm stand exists?
Great question.
What does
No,
the traffic look like?
It's very much the neighbors. You know, it's the people in the community. Some people have been coming for a long time. We also see people who say what you said, like, "Oh, when I used to live here, like there was nothing here. This building looked, run down or whatever." And they're like, "I just noticed it again. I want to come by." And that happens like on a weekly basis. There's people who in there come by and say that kind of stuff. So like people do know about it, but there's plenty of people who, live in the neighborhood and don't even know where they're.
Was the original farmhouse yellow like it is now, or did you guys choose that?
The original farmhouse, I believe, was a brownish.
Because the
color.
yellow's wonderful. Because
And the yellow is nice. And then the barn, believe it or not, was actually red. Of course it was. Right. But it was red. Yeah. So
that
we
makes
changed
sense.
that too.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I tell you, Goose,
Yep.
it's a dope vibe. It really
It
is.
is.
And I am so glad that like we had a chance to bring you in. I would love, if you're up for it, Goose, to have you guys come back again,
Yeah.
so that we can talk about how is the growing happening, how are things moving along, and hopefully maybe even be able to offer some coupons to our listeners so that they
Yeah.
come down at their first time to check it out and just have the experience. Because I think this is really important, especially with everything he's about to talk about this in a minute, whether you guys decide to hang out or not, where we've got crates coming from China empty. Right.
Mhm.
So even though produce isn't coming from China, the idea is still going to be it's going to lean.
Some of it's coming from China.
Right. But it's going to lean. That's the plastic rice. That's a whole nother story. Do you guys grow rice?
We don't.
You don't.
No. We don't
Okay.
grow
I got too excited too
No,
quick.
We
Right.
sorry.
trialed it a little bit just to see what we can grow, but like no, not
That didn't do well.
ACL. We did some dry land rice, so it doesn't not like the paddy rice.
Sure.
but
Sure.
We just grew a little bit, but not enough to sell.
Fair enough. Do you guys? So here's a question. Are you guys able to figure out, or has it been figured out by you guys yet? How do you figure out, because of our region, right, and our climate, we only have a window, right? Is it kind of that thing where we're, what the window looks like, or what is it going to be?
There's definitely a growing window, and Matt can talk about that.
Yeah, you mean like the growing season?
Yeah. How do I know when to show up for my strawberries versus not expecting them? Even though I know you're working with other farms, I know all this is happening.
Yeah. When things, obviously things are different rates. It's kind of similar, but yeah, I mean, strawberries are,
Volume up or something?
Having technical difficulties.
I don't know why.
That's what. Woo. The man holding us down because he doesn't want
Always.
people to know about the
Talk
free
about growing,
food.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody says. We're
Come
being
on.
held down by the free food.
All right, it's
trying to-
gone. Whatever it was.
Right? We're trying to
there we
feed.
go.
We're trying to feed the community. They're trying to hold us
Yes.
down.
But they can't.
They can't. They're gonna keep power to the people,
Okay, boom.
power to the free food, and power to SNAP being available and taken. Like, yo, that is a win.
Oh,
Can I
yes.
just tell you? First of all, I know that the process to be approved is not an easy task. Like anything government related, especially when it comes to agriculture or anything like that, they're gonna put y'all through some hoops and bounds. And so kudos to you guys. Hands off, like clap, clap, tap,
Shout out
tap.
to Matt.
Matt. Oh, so Matt, you ran that whole campaign.
Yeah, we've been a SNAP
Matt's-
processor for a while, so I can't take
Matt's,
credit for that.
why do I feel like Matt's gonna be like, no, it was all of us. Meanwhile,
It was
Matt
all
was
of
up
us.
to
He's
2 in
holding
the
it
morning.
down.
No,
though.
he's
right?
He's holding it
He's
down.
making sure y'all stay
Can't farm it all by
relevant.
myself, so you got to have a lot of
That
people
is
to
true.
do all that work.
That is
Fair enough.
But
But that to me is a win. Now here's the next question. Are you guys part of that programming where you get a percentage off? Like let's say you charge $3 for the bushel, right? There are some people that are partnered with EBT in the state that they say, hey, if you go to this place, you get a 5% discount on top of whatever they're offering. Are you guys a part of that programming, or is that like only for bodegas? Like, how does that work?
That's a great question. I'm not actually as familiar with that, so I'd be interested to find out.
Because I mean, we
more
live
where
in a
we stand.
desert, right?
I mean,
we
the
live
prices
in
are
a food.
great anyways.
No,
period.
no,
So, you
don't get me
know,
wrong.
like,
no, for
you know,
sure. But let's say because of the new cuts, maybe you were a family that received $200 a month on SNAP, right?
Mhm.
And now your 200 has now been turned to 150.
Yeah,
Again, I don't know, right? I don't know what's happening. I'm not going to pretend like I know. I'm
that's
just throwing
happening.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing numbers, right?
Mhm.
So everything counts. So if even if it's a 10% discount, that's a big deal because now maybe I can get 2 bushels versus only being able to get 1 while I'm moving around with whatever I'm able to work with, right? So that's the
Right.
reason I'm asking, because I really want my neighbors to know, hey, there are opportunities, because we've got a lot of schools. There's tons of schools that are surrounded. That's zone 6, right? So
Yes.
you've got the KIPP, you got the
Mhm.
Mildred,
Mhm.
you got the Ellison Park, you got the
Yes.
Pauline Shaw, right? These are all little kiddos that we don't know the situations at home, but I want their moms and dads to know, hey, there are options and opportunities available in this kind of desert we live in,
Yeah.
where we can get healthy choices for our little kiddos.
No, for sure.
know?
We definitely do have youth programming. I love that you named those. We're in each of those schools.
Oh,
as
are
well.
you?
Yes. So we have
that's
youth
dope.
programming, and our education coordinator works to make sure that there's a presence in those schools, and not just that, but those students are coming to us at the farm too.
Oh, so you're
Yep.
like a field trip spot too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so think about it, right? It starts from a
kinda
young
cool.
age.
Yeah.
You can get the kids excited.
Because they can all walk to the farm in theory.
They walk to the farm. We go to them. For example, Dearborn, we were actually able to start a garden there, a rooftop garden there. So
Oh,
we helped. Yep,
wow.
we've helped to lead that. Shout out to our education coordinator Ash, who's done that work. And we've also brought on 2, who was actually a past farmer trainee, and 2 is holding it down as Ash is out on
Okay.
leave. Yes, so
Because I know
we're
the
there.
Ellison Park, my little guy goes there on Babson.
Yes.
And there are beds, right? Daffodils are in there currently, but sometimes there's also produce and things growing.
Mhm.
And so I know my little ones, like they'll stuff like a corn kernel into the just to watch it pop
Do
up
it,
in the
yeah.
window,
Yes,
because they're
yes.
fascinated by this whole thing. My littles went to the grandparents for Easter, and already whatever they planted with their pop is already popping up, and the pictures have already started being
Hey.
sent to them. And they're like, "Do we get to go?" And they're in Saratoga
Yeah.
Springs, like
They're there.
they're
Okay,
upstate
yeah,
New York, right?
yep.
So we're not going anytime soon to go check on whatever it is they planted. But the
That's
idea
real.
is, right? They love the idea of things growing
Yes.
and them being a part of it. So I love hearing that you guys have made the connection with Boston Public
Oh,
Schools.
for sure.
That's dope.
For
That is super
sure. And
dope.
again, we get them excited, starting with that exploration, the experience, the experimentation, right? And even talking about a few years back, we did a program specifically for our kids around pollinators and pollination,
Okay.
right? And to get them excited about the bees, get them excited about the butterflies,
So I shouldn't be scared of the bees. is what
okay,
you're
well,
telling
you,
me?
you know,
Need
you
the
shouldn't
bees.
be. We need the bees. I'm afraid of the bees. I mind my business, but
we need them.
we
We
need
need
them. We need them. And encouraging our kids, don't kill them. please leave them be. We need them.
That that's
Just don't buzz around me.
That's it.
okay, but okay.
Mind your business out my mind.
So I will
I
ask
give
you
them an opportunity to get away. You know,
not the opportunity.
The
to get away.
opportunity.
Yeah.
That's like, hey,
The
you mind your business,
opportunity.
I'm gonna mind
Right,
mine.
there
That's
you
it.
go. There you go.
All right, so
Don't
hold
mess
on.
with me.
So is there a difference? I'm fully aware, like there's a difference between a bee and a wasp. But do we need wasps too, or can we be without? Are they just bullies? Because I always thought
They
they were
scare me.
bullies. Like carpenter bees are okay because they won't hurt me. They don't have stingies. They can't do anything, right? And like the honeybees are important, right?
They're important.
I've seen like all these big movements on that. But okay, but wasp at least we can all agree are bullies of the playground and can be let go of, right?
They definitely scare me.
They are-
But
yeah, I mean-
we don't kill
But
those
you
either.
but you need them too.
Everything needs the bees. Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
we
there's
all
like
need-
So
400
wait,
types of bees, and they all have different
there's
things that they
400 types of
pollinate in
bees?
like
Did you
different
know that,
trees.
Bill?
Yeah,
we need them all. We need
Wait,
them all.
wait, stop. We're not no. Did you know there's 400 types of bees?
Didn't know that.
And that's a rough number.
Yeah,
Wow.
no,
I'm learning
they-
new stuff on okay.
some of them will only pollinate one type of plant.
Really?
Yeah.
So
So,
that
we all
we
need them,
really-
even if they are. Yeah, they're.
Do you
they
guys do
bothering you?
honey?
We don't do honey. We do have two beehives at 2 different sites.
And they just show up every year?
They're managed by a partner of ours who takes care of the bees, and they pollinate our plants and our neighbors' plants and vegetables. Yeah,
wild.
Yep.
And they just go home.
they just go
Good
to
stuff.
their
Good
Goose,
stuff.
I'm learning new things every day. So next time I'd be like, y'all belong on Norfolk Street. Get out of here.
That's it. Yeah, go home.
That's
Tell
right.
them go home.
Good stuff. So give the folks your address. Give them
Yes.
the time again. Give them all the
The
you
ins
got
and outs and how we
Instagram.
can find you.
Absolutely. So our handles UFI at UFI Boston, our website urbanfarminginstitute.org, our address for our headquarters, the Fowler Clark Epstein Farm, 487 Norfolk Street in Mattapan. Come see us. We are there 9 to 4. Specifically, again, you're going to want to come those Fridays starting June 27th for our farm stand Fridays happening 1 to 5. And the only farm stand that we're planning to shut down for is, of course, the holiday, July 4th. But aside from there,
How dare you want to have a
I
life
know.
in barbecue?
you know, how dare you?
The goose
How
will
dare you.
be there
oh,
Yes.
he's talking about
Picking
himself
up
in the third
fruits.
person.
in vegetables. I tell you that right now.
Yes.
Why he's talking
I'm so
about himself
happy
in
to
the
hear
third
it.
person?
I'm a
though?
stock
That's
up
how you
too.
know it's real.
You know, no,
Oh,
it's
man.
good stuff. Like I
Yo,
said,
we're
most
so
folks they
happy
go
that
to the
you came in.
supermarket and everything has a number. Like I said, man, and a lot of folks really don't pay attention to it. They just grabbing this and grabbing that.
Goose is like if it's got
You
a
know.
5 or it's got a 9, that's going to kill you because it's pesticides.
Listen,
if,
Pay
you
attention.
if you don't know, you got to look
Listen.
and turn it, and you got to thump it a certain
It's
rate. If it
not a
don't make the
game.
right kind of sound,
Put it back.
put it back.
Put it
back.
That's
Listen.
Goose.
Yeah.
It
Goose
is-
back.
spent one whole show.
It is not a game.
You see
I'm
the
telling you.
seriousness on his
No,
face?
no,
He's
it's the
not- he's
truth.
not
It's
joking.
not a game. It's
Okay.
like, you know, there's a difference between real and fake.
That's yeah.
You know, and if you're putting the fake stuff in your system, and if you
Yes.
haven't noticed, a lot of people have been dropping dead lately.
Yes.
A lot of
Young,
folks and people
young,
trying to figure it out.
Young. Health concerns.
It's
And
the damn
so
food.
I'm going to put in another plug. You know, check it out on our website. We have a series, Food as Medicine, where we literally have guest speakers. We have professionals come in about,
Wow.
to talk about your health and what certain foods can do
live,
for you.
live eating.
Yes.
Have you ever met Dr. A?
I haven't.
Okay, so
Me too.
when we get off, I'm gonna give you her information
me
for y'all to
in,
link up.
please. Okay.
She is one of the most amazing naturalist doctors I've ever met, and
Mm-hmm.
she does all of this live living eating, and she only eats live foods.
I love it.
You get what I'm saying? So it
Yes.
has to be green and alive for her to consume it, and the alkaline and the water. Like she doesn't play
Mhm.
around. Like she's real serious about her business.
I like it.
That's dope. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for
For sure.
taking on this opportunity and taking time out. I know it's busy for y'all out there in the farm with your little seedlings. Y'all sing to them.
And next time,
Maybe
bring a couple of things with you. You know,
Yeah, we got
can
some
bring- no,
shirts.
So next time we
Yes.
can bring vegetables. I think
Yeah.
maybe we play
Boom.
music for the seedlings, not quite. Or I
you
haven't
know,
sung
just so the
something.
folks can get a view of, you know, see what the stuff looks like. You know,
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that'd be dope
We
too,
can do
right? That
that.
people would get a chance to see that. But again, can people where can people find you again, just in case they missed that part?
Absolutely. Right at our headquarters, 487 Norfolk Street in Mattapan, zip code 02126.
So you're right by the
Check us out.
Walgreens,
Don't
right?
even need
Right
to
by
write
the
it down.
Walgreens.
Yeah.
Right by that Walgreens.
487 Norfolk.
I
No
love
problem.
that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming in. and we appreciate y'all. And hopefully sometime in the summertime, if it's not too crazy, you guys can come back and tell us how things are going. I want to know about your groundhogs, underground, your hedgehogs, and whatever else is moving around, Sonics.
Hopefully, there's nothing to talk about.
There we go.
I think you should name them. If they're already employees, I think they deserve a name
I think you
tag.
should come and name
You
them.
can come and, yeah, you can visit them on.
That little rascal. So thank you so much. So we're going to turn to some music just so we can like reset everything back up, take some photos. But thanks again for coming in, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. Goose, you got anything you want to leave them with?
No, hey, it's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it.
So remember, that's
Folks
Urban
need that.
Farming Institute.
Yes.
Make sure you stop and check them out because they're doing amazing things in the community. And as we always say here at the Urban Heat, we are bridging communities one at a time. And this is a bridge that we want to make sure has scaffolding to endure generations, because we need to be eating healthy. Like Goose says, there's no reason why
Yes.
people are passing as early as they are.
Yes.
It makes no sense. So I like that idea. You're teaching people how to eat healthy. Fried chicken and Popeyes ain't where it's at, huh?
No, I mean, it tastes good, but no,
No.
come on now. We
Not
got to do
every day,
better.
no.
No.
Fair enough. I
And,
received it.
and the crazy thing, I'll just say this real quick. When you find out the stuff that they're putting in the food, they make it seem like it's normal.
It's not.
And it's not.
It's not.
It
Some
is-
of these foods will live in your system for like 7 years.
and there's a
Like, it's-
purpose.
Wait,
for
did you
all
say
of it. Yeah.
Yes.
mind blown?
Yes. When you take a look, a deep and close look at what's in your foods, and taking a look as well as the at the plastic, the trace of plastic leading into your food, think about how long that can live in your body and how long it takes to expel. So yeah, pay attention.
So is this why you look like you're 16?
You know, what-
I mean, I know black don't crack, but the
Thank
girl
you.
looks
Yeah.
like she's 16. I ain't gonna lie.
and
This
I'm
is
definitely in my
flawless.
30s, so I appreciate you.
She's been
I
eating healthy
definitely
for a while
appreciate
because you
you.
can tell. She can tell that she's been doing her thing.
Thanks.
Well,
sis.
I just am floored by this. I'm so glad, and I've had people online in and out popping in, just saying hi and sending waves to y'all. Keep up the good work. If there's anything we can do here at the station to support you guys, please do not feel or don't hesitate. Don't feel that you can't reach out to us, because that's what we're here for too.
For sure.
Great. Thank
And
you.
thank you guys for having
Thank you.
us, for everybody tuning in. Stay up, stay healthy.
All
That's
right.
real.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
All right. All right, folks. All right, folks. So we're gonna
Hit me. You did
I'm
that.
gonna reset these cameras up, and then when we come back, I'm gonna talk about quite a few things. We got the Karen Reed trial, so we're gonna get into that. A lot of perjury was committed.
Not
these past couple.
perjury.
Oh yes, we're gonna talk about that.
Say it ain't so
Also, we're gonna get into cryptocurrency like we always do.
You mean the black pools?
And there's a nah,
They stealing my money, Goose. This is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And also, there was a major power outage in Portugal and in Spain. So we'll talk about that. It's a bunch of stuff we're gonna get into. There's not enough time in the day, so we'll come back and get into some of the other stuff if we don't make it to that. But give us a minute. I'm gonna reset these cameras and we'll be right back.
We're about to be back in the penthouse.
Hello, all you cyberheads.
The House will be in order.
It's yours, your house. It's yours, your house. All yours, your house. All yours, your house looks so good, smells so nice. It's your private paradise. It's yours, your house.
Cryptocurrency is gambling. It's not investing. It's
Changing demeanor? I didn't notice.
Mel will be back in here shortly. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, man. We're going to get into the Karen Reed trial. We're also going to talk about John Hope. And the thing with John Hope, he made a comment about cryptocurrency that I want you to hear. It wasn't very good. And, you know, John Hope's a good guy. I like him. He's super rich, you know, off of stocks, bonds, and a bunch of other stuff. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to give you my opinion on what's going on right there. I don't agree with him at all with what he said, but I'm going to play for you what he said when he talks about cryptocurrency. And with definitely, you know, listen, if you haven't followed the Karen Reed trial, let me just tell you this. What you're seeing on the news isn't everything that's going on. Of course it's not, right? But when I watch the news, and I don't watch it often, but when I do, there's a major difference in what they're showing and what you would actually get out of the trial if you were to watch it. So the news is biased. They're not even neutral. They're biased because, in my opinion, from looking at some of the things that happen, highlights, you know, just like when you watch a Celtics game, when you watch sports programs afterwards, what are they showing you? They're showing you the highlights from the game. There are highlights from the trial that these news stations, they would not even show you. And that's because they're biased in one way or the other. So that's the difference between when we talk about Karen Reed and what you hear on the news. And I know a lot of folks are tired of it because that's all they're seeing at times. But you're not really seeing, if you really saw what was really going on, you'd be very interested. And I think you should be interested because you're talking about corruption in law enforcement that goes a long way, not just from, you know, and I hate to say Boston police because I know a lot of great police officers, and I know that one bad apple doesn't make everyone terrible. We all understand that. But there's corruption. There's corruption at its finest, you know, inside that. Also, the state police. If you watch the trial and you look at and hear what some of the witnesses had to say, I'm telling you, you want to talk about highlights of what's going on with that trial? That's what they're not showing on the news. You know, the story that they talk about on the news, Karen Reed on trial for killing her boyfriend. Not even allegedly. She's on trial for killing her boyfriend, and she is, you know. But to me, the biggest story is what really happened. And they're not talking about that. They're not showing that. You're not seeing that on television. So we're going to bring some of those highlights to you in a little bit. And let's see. What else we got going on here? Let me just play and I'll have to play this again when Mel comes back in here. But let me play this video. I want to talk about Shedeur Sanders. And if I can find the video with, where's my guy? And I don't even have it in here. But let me try and get that. Let me try. Wow, I'm surprised I don't have it. It's in the intro. So anyways, John Hope just want to talk about him for a quick second because John is super rich, right? He's an entrepreneur, and he's raised billions of dollars for underserved communities. So he's a great guy. He knows what he's doing. Very, very popular. Actually follow him on social media. And again, he's raised billions of dollars for underserved communities. And he's a very rich man himself. I don't know how many millions. Some people said he's a billionaire, but he's already come out and said he's not a billionaire. So he's not that. But he's super rich. He probably has hundreds of millions of dollars, or at least close to that. All right. All from the stock game and bonds and things of that nature. So he knows what he's talking about when it comes to investments. He came out and said that cryptocurrency is gambling. All right. He said that cryptocurrency is gambling. Pretty much don't waste your money, blah, 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 blah. Now, I totally disagree with what he said. Now, if I can, I got to find the clip. I really want you to hear that clip. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hold on. I got to find that clip. John Hope. Where is it? I'm going to load this thing up if I can find it. John Hope. All right. I have it right here. So I'm going to load it up for you. And I'm going to actually, you know what? No, you can go. Let me just put Mel's camera up. She's back, y'all. All right. All right. Sit. Have a seat. Let's get your camera. Hold on. All right, so there you go. Cool. All right, so Mel's back. Mel, talk to the folks a little bit. I just want to load this clip that I want people to hear about this guy. His name is John Hope. He's an entrepreneur, and he said some bad things about crypto. So I want to play that real quick.
Well, there's a lot. Man. All right, Goose, look. I feel like we're in the fear-mongering stage of the process. Remember we talked about there's going to be 5 stages to this whole crypto thing, right? First it was they try to stop it, right? That's the SEC. Then they try to, destroy it. How? By telling everybody that, drug dealers and, traffickers and all these sightly type of people are involved in this space. That didn't work. Then they're like, all right, we're going to adopt it. But not only are we going to adopt it, we're going to adopt it in a way that we're going to put it into our coffers, right? So we're going to be one of the biggest contenders for crypto that anyone's ever seen, right? Well, how do you start controlling things? How do you start getting people to give up? Because, a lot of investors in this space are individuals that honestly, if we're being completely transparent, are emotional. Right? A lot of people are emotional when they're dealing with their money. So they're fearful that, if I leave it in, it's going to go down past $2 and I'm going to lose money, so forth and so on. Right? So now what happens? The big whales come in, they buy it up. And in the meanwhile, there's all this fear mongering. So like I've heard some conversations lately, what they're referring to is what they're calling black pools, right? What's a black pool? It's another way to try to scare people. What they're basically saying is, hey, they're going to siphon off your XRP or they're going to take it from you. And there's 2 different ledgers, meaning, 2 different bank books like we've talked about before. One has one number, one has another number, right? So the banks are operating off of one number, but us, the consumer, have a different number, right?
Let me just say this real quick for me.
Yeah.
I'm ignoring the black pools. I mean,
I am too. Oh, absolutely.
Don't be thrown off by the stuff in the noise on the sidelines.
But that's what they want us to do, Goose.
Yeah, but it's easy. It's
the
easy
scary.
thing
It's
to
scary
do
to
is
think
to
about.
just ignore it and like whoever you're following,
unfollow.
Talk to them about it.
Unfollow all the followers.
Because to make it a big deal is part of like what you said. That's what they want you to do. Don't get distracted by the noise. Let me play this is a clip from this guy. His name is John Hope. He's an entrepreneur. Some say he's a billionaire, but he already came out and said he's not a billionaire, but he's raised billions of dollars for underserved communities. So let me just play what he talked about when it comes to cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency is gambling. It's not investing. It's gambling, and there's no assets underneath it. A billionaire friend of mine was at the Milken conference speaking, and somebody asked him about, this guy's worth $15 billion. What do you think about crypto? He said, if somebody could tell me why the price goes up and why the price goes down, I'll buy some.
Well, it's a scarcity thing, right?
And
It's not mining so much of it.
No. Look, Bitcoin itself is a separate thing, and I love blockchain technology, by the way. But people don't know, there were almost 20,000 cryptocurrencies. In the last 10 years or less, most of them went poof. They just went away. And most people are trying to get a cryptocurrency to cash it out for cash.
Yeah.
They want cryptocurrency, then what they really want at the end of the day is cash. So it's like, look, I'm not down on cryptocurrency. I'm just saying, don't use your rent money to go buy some. It's gambling. It's speculation. You can go to New York. You can go to Las Vegas and hit really big, or you can understand that Las Vegas keeps getting bigger with every flight. It keeps getting bigger. House always wins. So you might be one of the people who hit. You might get hit on the head.
That's Tony Robbins. You can tell by his voice.
That's John Hope.
That's John Hope. Why does he sound like Tony Robbins?
Nah, that's John
Doesn't
Hope.
he sound like Tony Robbins though? He sounds like Tony Robbins with his dictation, the way he speaks.
That's John Hope. So
John Hope said that,
John's a super rich guy from stocks, bonds, and in a bunch real estate and a bunch of other things. He's filthy rich. All right. So I'm not
For you to say that he's filthy rich, that dude got to have some money then.
Oh no, he's filthy. He's again. Some say he's a billionaire. He's already came out and said, no, I'm not a billionaire. So to not be a billionaire, then how rich are you? He's got money coming out. You know what? But so let's talk about what he just said. I totally disagree with him. I think he's a smart guy. He said a few things there. He said that his wife owns Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So that's separate from everything else, which it really isn't, because Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he loved blockchain technology. And okay, but it's gambling. Well, first of all, if you're going to put it in that sense,
you could say the same thing about the stock market.
I was going to say that everything is gambling, man. The stock market, real estate. But at the end of the day, right, it's really, what do they all have in common? From crypto to the stock market to real estate, what do they all have in common?
They all make passive income.
They're all a risk.
Right, but they also all make passive income for you, right?
Right, but at the end of the day, it's a
risk. Absolutely.
It's a risk.
Absolutely.
That everyone takes when you invest your money.
But that beats the narrative.
Right. So I just think, again, I think John's a smart guy. The problem is with folks who already have their money. The problem is, they're so comfortable, their eyes are not fully open to the new technology. Think about all the billionaires and rich folks who passed up on Facebook. Uber, Amazon, you name it. Go right down the line of all these people that were told to invest in this and who came out and said, nah, I'm not feeling that right now, from your Mark Cubans, you name it, to your
No, for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
even look at Steve Jobs.
Right.
I mean, Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs. I think if you look at, I hate, again.
Well, let me say this. Here's the thing.
I hate to admit when you're right, Goose. Okay, let me just say this before you say what you got to say.
Stop it. Man.
Dang it. I don't like to admit this, but I got to say this.
And I respect the guy. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying
disconnect happening.
I'm just saying he's wrong, right?
There's a super disconnect.
And what's going to happen? He's going to be one of those guys that comes to the party late. Like most people. And even Warren Buffett came out. And said bad things. Larry Fink, the owner, the CEO of BlackRock.
But 32% of his portfolio now is crypto.
Who's this? Which one?
Warren Buffett.
Oh yeah. Oh, no.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Like, this is the man that said he wouldn't spend $25.
Right. So what happens? What happens is they say negative things about it. You follow them. Oh no, but he said that. But he's a millionaire. But guess what? They make mistakes too. They don't always hit it on the first time around. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you why he's wrong, right? And he obviously doesn't know enough about it. One thing he is right about, I'll say, there are a lot of cryptocurrencies that aren't going to go anywhere. which is why it's so important that if you're into it, right, you should learn everything you need to know about it.
Absolutely.
About cryptocurrency, about blockchain technology. If you're going to invest, don't just pick a coin. Like you said, there's over 20,000 different
projects.
coins.
Well, the projects are meant to confuse people.
Right. But when regulations come, what's going to happen?
They're going to fall off.
A lot of them are going to disappear.
Absolutely.
So when you decide to invest, whatever you invest in, just like on the stock market, you're not just going to buy anything, because everything's not necessarily going to grow. So just like the stock market, just like real estate, you don't just buy any house, right? Facts. Especially if you're an investor, you're not going to pay $1 million for a house that's valued at $1 million. Let's say $1.5 million. That's not a dream for an investor.
Facts.
Unless it's a cash cow.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
I think everything you're saying is actually spot on, and in fact, I would even take it a step further and say that, when you look at all this, of course, if you don't know, right? Yeah. Let's say I'm coming in, I'm new to the game. The words confuse me or scare me, because it did. Listen, Goose, before you got down and sat down and talked with me 2.5, almost 3. It's 3 years. Right. You said blockchains and you were talking about this and that. It scared me because I didn't know what you were talking about.
Like most people.
Right. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know the ins and outs. I didn't understand it. I couldn't grasp what it was you were trying to tell me. It was just something that didn't make sense to me.
Right.
And might as well have been in a different language, right? But once I began to do my research, once I began to truly understand what was happening, what it meant, then I realized that most of the projects that you do see, that's where the gamble goes in, right? The gamble's going to go in that if I were to have gotten XRP at 17 cents, I would be sitting on millions of XRP, right? I still came in super early. And if we're being completely transparent, it is still super early
it's
now.
Still super early, yeah.
It is super early.
But when you talked about before, that train is at the station. Oh, no, it's revved up right now.
Oh, yeah, because it was you who told me Deutsche is about to get an ETF.
Yeah, Deutsche, they're talking about, so.
And I'm not going to lie, I just sold all mine.
So listen, on April 3rd, today's the 1st, right?
Yeah.
April 30th was supposed to be the day for the XRP ETF and Dogecoin.
Yeah.
They moved that date now to I think it's June 17th.
Okay.
Where that ETF is going to happen. Now, if you saw what happened to the Bitcoin ETF when Bitcoin came, they said all kinds of records blew
it blew out the water.
Gold out the water.
Yeah.
So with everything we know about XRP, I imagine, and I made a prediction. I told a particular person, I won't say his name. I said, don't be surprised that on the 30th, XRP is at this price. But then they moved the date. So when that ETF comes, that's when things are going to really start moving for XRP. And that date has now been moved to June 17th. So I just wanted to say that about Brian. Good guy. He knows what he's talking about, except for when it comes to cryptocurrency. And I can guarantee you that somewhere in his portfolio, at some point, what's going to happen is his broker is going to approach you. Listen, I think you should put some of your money right here and right here. This is what's happening. This is what happened with that technology in the last 12 months. I mean, you can super grow your money if you do that. And that's what's going to happen. Then he's going to join the party. And the same thing happened with the guys from Earn Your Leisure, right?
Great example.
And maybe even 19 Keys, because in following 19 Keys and Earn Your Leisure, when we were talking about cryptocurrency, they wasn't talking about it.
Yeah, they
was not talking about
that's
it.
Real.
So at some point, they were convinced too, to the point where they came to the party, and now you look at them. Oh no, it's part of all of their portfolios right now. I can promise you that.
Absolutely. And here's the thing too, right? When we're talking about this space, I think it's important for us to always be mindful that we're not telling you, first of all, let's be very clear, we're not giving you financial advice. We are not people that are licensed to do so. So do not ever take these conversations in that gravity. Yeah. I think that that's important to say, just because I do realize that we have a large platform and that we have people that listen to us. And at this time, for them, what we're giving them is the closest of the truth of information that they can find, right? With that being said, I'm not telling you to turn around and go ahead and take all your rent money, your mortgage money, and do all this wild stuff, right? But what I am going to tell you is if you can cut back and not do Uber Eats, if you can cut back and not buy coffee from a chain, but make it at home, if you can cut back from buying lunch and packing lunches, and maybe you're eating things or you know, at a discount, whatever that looks like, right? Listen, $50 every week is going to put a dent in. You can't eat an elephant one sitting. It's a bite at a time, right? And I don't want you to get confused because it is set up. The system is set up to confuse you. And that confusion is like Goose said earlier, which is there are too many programs or products or projects out there that you don't know what is good, what isn't good. What should I get involved in versus what I shouldn't get involved in? And then some things are out of your price bracket immediately. You step in, you're like, I don't have $50 to be spending or $200 to be spending. And so then you look at these more smaller projects that are still at the 23 cents to 17 cents. So this is where your research has to come into play. Anything I believe that is on the ISO 2022 platform is a winner. That's my opinion.
Everyone, especially our folks, listen, just believe me when I tell you, learn about this technology and get involved now, because we all know what's going to happen when this thing starts to take off. People are going to run in and they're going to invest at a higher price. And a lot of folks are just going to get crushed. That's just how it's going to happen. That's the way it always works. People come late to the party. I've been a victim of it before. I've come, you know.
Didn't you at one point own some Bitcoin too?
I've never owned Bitcoin in my life.
I thought you owned, I thought you had it at some point and you got rid of it because you thought it wasn't like going to do anything or something like that. Am I mixing you up with somebody?
You are.
I must.
I don't own any cryptocurrency at all.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. My bad.
I own Zilch.
Yeah, I sold all my Doge.
I just like helping people. That's all.
Oh, you're so giving.
I just love helping.
Dang,
I do. I really do. I like helping people. That's one of the things about me. I enjoy helping individuals. If you're a person who's looking for something and you want to achieve it, yeah.
I'm that
type of guy.
I must make you feel all warm and fuzzy, huh?
Stop.
Because you're like, look, I took Mel.
I gotta record that laugh too.
I took Mel from not having any understanding to now look at this monster I created.
Yeah, you came in here one day, started talking to stuff. I had no idea what you was talking about, but you knew what you was talking about.
But it's because it's important. I feel like one of the things I think people always get caught up on is our community. In a lot of ways, we end up last in a lot of spaces where we could be first. And in places that we should be first, we're not, because we're given a lot of fear mongering.
And truth be told, only 5% of the country owns a little bit of cryptocurrency.
Isn't that wild?
That's a very small number.
This is a conversation I keep having with people. They're like, oh, Mel, they're not going to allow so many people to become millionaires.
They don't have to.
The reality of it is that
it's such a small number, they don't have to.
That's the
They're
part.
Not worried,
there's 8 billion people on this planet. And currently right now, there's not even 500,000 cold storage wallets out there that hold XRP in them. And then you have to think about, what does that mean? The average person, on average, this is numbers, right? Because I love my numbers. On average, the average person owns about 500 XRP. That's on average.
It's a good amount to own.
I'm just saying, right?
Yep.
So if we're talking about this turning into something where, the numbers have been all over the map, right? I've heard numbers from, it's not going to go. Remember, they said, it wouldn't clear over $1, right? And then as soon as the election finished, it went up to almost to the max of 340, where it has been its highest so far, right? Then it's gone down. It's been hovering at $2. It's been maintaining at the $2 mark, right? And then we have these glitches. And these glitches are coming through and they're showing numbers that are astronomically out there into the stratosphere of what you think this thing could be. And I believe those real numbers do exist. And I believe those numbers are sitting on the actual ledger that is going to be happening, because what's going to happen is they're going to have to reconcile the banking side of the house and the retail side of the house. There's no way that you're going to be able to keep these as two separate streams. And let me just tell you why I think this, Goose. The reason why I think this is because it becomes a commodity.
Mhm.
So if I know that in the retail space that there's over, I don't know, something like I'm just throwing a number, 400 million of these coins sitting in the retail space, right? And I'm in the banking space and I need that movement because I am moving trillions of dollars daily. And we also know that there's a burn rate of the movement, right? And a burn rate just simply means that a little bit of the coin erases each time you use it. It just a little bit of it erases, right? So this is why it's important to understand the quality and quantity piece to this, right? Whatever is there is there. That's it. They
Right.
can't make more of it. So if the new banking system is going to be held with this being part of it in the structure, that means it has to be robust.
Yeah.
It has to be able to handle the amount of money that's going to be needed for the cross-border payments to work. Well, if that's true, there's no way on God's green earth in which we stand on today that it could hover at the price that it's hovering at now, because it would burn out within 5 years.
Here's the bottom line.
5 years.
It's a great investment.
Absolutely.
It really is. It's a great investment. And when it takes off, it's going to take off to the point where
You'll be outpriced
yeah. So,
quite quickly.
Yep.
Because here's the thing that the crypto space does that does not happen in the stock market space. It doesn't turn off. It's running 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
And the stock market will do the same very soon.
Yeah, because I heard they plan on tokenizing that.
Yeah, it's going to be tokenized.
So can you
and
imagine
it's
that?
Be 24 hours, just like crypto. That's going to happen.
So then I wonder
Pretty
too,
soon.
right? If that is the case, do you think, and this is all plausible, of course, do you think that the different markets would converge and become one, like the crypto space is?
Crypto and Wall Street?
No. You know how like you have Europe's market, you have Asia's market. We
I don't
technically
know.
have the crypto space in these spaces as well. I'm not saying they don't exist, right?
Yeah, I don't think they'll all
But there's
become
this
one.
global, but right, there's still a global interaction that's happening in the crypto space that definitely does not happen in the stock market space the way that it does here.
I don't see them all coming. We're already fighting. So for them to come together on that, I don't see it.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on it? I'm curious because we haven't talked about this in a long time, nor have I heard anything about this. BRICS. What do you think BRICS is doing?
BRICS is quietly doing their thing. You know?
Do you think they're moving in stealth mode?
I haven't followed them a whole lot. I think they're on schedule. I think some of the things that have derailed is that everybody's not totally ready yet. So, and what I mean by ready, everyone hasn't, as far as blockchain, being able to talk to certain spaces worldwide, everyone's not there yet. And I think BRICS is ready. There's a lot of major corporations that are ready. Bank of America, Chase is ready. BlackRock is getting ready, because they're all about tokenizing all their assets and bonds, and they were the first ones to do the Bitcoin ETF, of course. I don't know. BRICS has been very quiet, but
they're a powerhouse.
Oh, no doubt.
They're a powerhouse,
No doubt.
and they control at least 1/3 of the world's population because India and China are represented in that space.
Mhm.
That is a massive space,
Right.
So I there are a lot of moving parts, and I'm not here to confuse people or go off into tangents or anything, but I do believe if this was a mosaic painting, it all plays in together.
Well, it's all going to, in the end, that's what's going to happen. It's all going
And
to
I say that I give this 24 months to fully, come out into its fruition of full immersion. I think it's going to take about 24 months. I believe that we are literally in the choo-choo is leaving the station stage, right? And I do believe that we are in a place where adoption is really happening real time in front of us, right?
Mhm.
I believe because, we are also in the space. We talk about this a lot about how people are passing, right? So the reality is the boomers are all now 70 plus, right? So these are going to be the people that are going to be the last of the Mohegans holding on to the checkbooks, mailing in things, right? Because they still have never really truly adopted the idea of the cloud and that kind of way of tapping to pay Apple Pay. I'm going to Zelle you because I don't carry cash, right? This is still a group of people that puts things in mattresses, right? You know what I mean? And so the reality is that this group is getting older, and the younger end to the boomers are now 75 pushing, right? So their health is declining and changing. So in the next 10 years, I don't even think that utility companies will accept checks.
Right.
I'm just being honest, right? If we're being honest, who really are the people that are utilizing those services? It's going to be that age group, right? It's not our age group. It's not the people under us. The kids under us don't even know how to write checks, Goose.
Right.
If you ask a kid today, write a check, they're gonna look at you like you got 4 heads.
I don't even write checks anymore.
But at least you learned the skill set of how to do it.
Right.
If somebody said to you right now, "Hey, Goose, I want you to write this check because I'm going to sell this house to you." You don't know how, of course you know how to write the check to get that check.
Yeah. If anything, I'll email you a check, which is something that folks don't know that's been around since COVID started.
Emailing a check.
Yeah, I email checks all the time.
What hold up. What voodoo hoodoo you talking
It's
about?
not
Emailing.
voodoo, you know.
You email, I mean, I know you can take a check and take a picture and deposit it into your bank account. But you're telling me you can actually email somebody a check, a live check?
I do it especially in real estate. When COVID came out, they came out with this new thing where
you have to have a
email
business
checks.
account or something for that to work. Is that how that?
I don't know if you could do it on the personal account, but it is through my business account. Yeah. So
I did not know. Listen, for real,
I
did not
email
know that was a
commission
thing.
checks all the time. People
Wow.
print them out, sign them, go to the bank and cash them. First, they think I'm weird about it, and then they go to the bank, and they can accept the check. And I've had no issues with it. Very easy, simple process.
That's amazing.
I actually prefer it.
That is amazing. Well, I mean, it's a good way to keep track records too, right?
Yeah, very good way to keep track. So, so that's what's going on with cryptocurrency right now. And for all you folks that do hold XRP, let me just tell you that Ripple is doing a lot of partnerships right now, and they're actually
a ton of NDAs too.
Yeah, they're actually attempting to purchase USDC.
Really?
They made a $5 billion offer to purchase it, but they turned it down. And
interesting,
from what I'm hearing, is they already have a partnership with XLM. So that was part of the reason why they turned it down. But they could offer more money, and we see what happens. If that happens, that's going to be huge.
Oh, absolutely.
That's going to be huge. And,
absolutely.
And USDC, by the way, is a stable coin. We'll get into all that a little later. We won't go deep into that.
And didn't I see you put something out? Something's coming up in May. I saw you got an educational event coming up in May. What's going on with that?
Yeah, but that's actually private though.
Oh, is it private?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm sorry. Listen, it's for the Urban Heat family and friends. So if you are a family with
you want to be my friend,
a friend of somebody, you can't get an invite.
Come follow me, become my friend, and I'll get you in.
That's gonna be an in-house private event. We'll do some of the other ones though. At the end of the day, if anyone is looking for some education on crypto, you can hit either one, call Mel or just hit me up, and we'll be more than happy to try to help you out.
We got to get you. Oh, look, so not Fonessa. Shout out to Fonessa. She's online right now. She says, I think the tariff war is a part of the smoke screen to kick this crypto blockchain regulation up. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, Fonessa. Yep. I 100%, because they want the fear mongering to be what causes people to sell. Right. If they think that there's a possibility that they could salvage what 2 pennies they can rub together, of course they're going to do it. But if you've been listening to any of the greats up to this point in time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all these guys, right? What do they always say? When there's war, when there's confusion, when there's all these things, that's when you buy, when everything is dirt poor. Because then that's when you sell it, when it's worth all this money. Right. And it's spot on, right? Even though here in New England, in the Boston area, we may not be really experiencing this real estate issue as other places are, right? Florida is having some real problems right now. There's a lot of areas in the country that are really struggling with houses and selling of houses and houses on markets. Right. But I will say that I've been in some neighborhoods like Newton, for example, and there are several houses on the street with sales on, for sale signs in front of the properties. Something's brewing.
In the upcoming weeks, we're going to have a mortgage guy on the air with us, because I do want to talk about, I'm glad you brought up real estate, because pre-foreclosures are on the rise.
Can you
Some
explain
folks,
to me what's the difference between a pre-foreclosure versus a foreclosure versus a fast sale? Can you
a pre-foreclosure pretty much is a property that is going to be foreclosed on. The bank has filed the papers in terms of the beginning part of that, and the buyer still has an opportunity to catch up and all that stuff. So it's in the it's not in foreclosure because the foreclosure hasn't happened. It's just in the pre-foreclosure mode.
So that's like let you know, is that like a smoke screen for all the sellers and buyers out there to know that's coming possibly?
I wouldn't say it's a smoke, it's a reality. You know what I mean?
I didn't mean smoke screen, smoke signal is what I meant to say.
Pretty much. The last time we had a lot of those was back in 2008 when the market, really was bad with the banks heavily being involved in putting the market in that position. But that's what's going on in real estate. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll be talking about that. I'm going to get a couple of mortgage brokers up here, and we're going to talk about what's going on with interest rates and with the pre-foreclosures and things of that nature.
Love it.
We don't have a lot of time, so let's move along from that. I do want to talk about Shedeur Sanders. And so Shedeur, as you know, the son of Deion Sanders, a Hall of Famer, played for the Atlanta Falcons, also the Dallas Cowboys, and I believe he played for the San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
So Shedeur was supposed to be a first-round draft pick, and because of his father and I guess his bravado and how he is, his cockiness, so they say, he was not drafted and he fell all the way down to round number 5.
Okay.
Now, personally, in my opinion, I think part of that, a lot of that is true, but he didn't go to the combine, which is
it's a huge place to go to showcase your talents.
Yeah. You have to. He should have went to the combine, number one, but he also turned down a lot of interviews. He didn't want to do any private. He turned down a lot of private practices and where teams wanted to see his skill set.
They want to scout him out.
Yeah, so he turned down a lot of that stuff, and then you got all the other stuff that comes with that. So he pretty much didn't get drafted until the 5th round, and they're saying that NFL teams colluded, which they probably did. But I want to play for you a clip. If you know Dr. Umar, he's always got something to say. So let me play that for you real quick.
You talking about Mr. Snow Bunny?
and then we'll comment on it right after.
Okay.
I saw Shedeur Sanders' phone number on my father's iPad, and I wrote it down and did the prank call. So you mean to tell me you didn't get permission from your father to take Shedeur's number? You mean to tell me your father didn't know you took Shedeur's number? Shedeur said, Art, that was a new phone. Shedeur said, I just got the phone. He only had the phone for 1 or 2 days, maybe 3. How in the hell did you get the new number in 3 days? Your father gave it to you. Your father gave it to you. But your father don't want to get in trouble because he works for the NFL. And you don't work for the NFL, so it only makes sense to blame you. And now to cover the story up, Art, now they're saying other players were prank called. Now they're saying white player. You know why they're saying that, Art? Because they don't want this to look like what it is. They saying that, Art, because they don't want this to look like the racist attack that it is on the Sanders family. That's what this was about. Ain't nobody else get no prank call. This was for Shedeur. But y'all have to make it look like it was draft wide so it doesn't look like racial discrimination. I hope they sue Art. And then on top of that, damage control. Now they got executives from the different NFL teams, Art. Now they got executives, Art, from the different NFL teams saying, well, reports are coming out. Reports are coming out that Shedeur Sanders didn't do well during his interview. They said he kind of finessed the interview. They said that if he wasn't interested in the team, he didn't even act like he wanted to answer their questions. I don't believe that at all, Art.
The House will be in order.
Just to bring you up to speed a little bit. So the coach's son of the defensive coordinator coach of the Atlanta Falcons, he somehow left his iPad open, and his son got a hold of the iPad.
How old is his son?
I think he's 21.
Okay.
He saw Shedeur's phone number, and decided to prank call Shedeur into thinking that he was going to be drafted. They're having a conversation. Now his son is pretending to be the general manager of the New Orleans Saints. And he's saying, we're going to pick you. And then he goes, sorry, but I think you're going to have to wait a little longer, and hung up, and him and his friends are laughing. So let me just play what the coach had to say about it in yesterday's press conference.
Obviously not happy and shocked. And so I made the Falcons aware of the situation. And then our next course of action was to try to get a hold of the Sanders family so we could apologize in person, which we were able to do. The Sanders family, Shedeur and Coach Sanders, were amazingly gracious, more gracious than they needed to be in a moment like this. Yeah, it's another part of the regret. Obviously, tremendous amount of regret for.
All right, that's enough of that.
He didn't even know how to pronounce the boy's name.
So
did you peep that?
Right. Yeah. I didn't, but I mean, here's the thing, right? It sounded like he was sincere, but I mean, I don't, initially I thought he did have something to do with it, and he's using his son as an excuse, like Dr. Umar said.
So you don't think it's a form of hazing?
Listen, the NFL tried to come out and say that other players were pranked, and I've
that's
never heard of that.
That's yet to be proven.
I've
right?
never heard of that, so I think they are trying to cover it up and soften the landing in somewhat form of fashion. But at the end of the day, listen, man, the guy he did it. He got caught. He bought the phone from T-Mobile, so no one had the number. He bought the phone for the purpose of giving out to the teams that may potentially draft him. And so it was easy for them to find out where the call came from.
Sure.
And so he had no choice but to apologize. Now, the team, the Atlanta Falcons, was fined $250,000. He was fined $100,000. And initially I thought he was fired, but they didn't fire him. And, I mean, that kid, everything they try to say that Shedeur was is what that kid was in terms of what happened. I don't know. It's not a good situation for Shedeur, not a good situation for his father, but it did happen. He was drafted in fifth round by the Cleveland Browns, so he will have an opportunity to play football.
Okay, look, right? Not for nothing.
But he lost a lot of money as well.
Yeah, but here, let's have a real conversation for 5 seconds on this, right? Prime time is prime time.
Prime time is prime time.
And prime time has that name because of all that he has done and has been able to produce and create, even in spaces where there was nothing to be produced or created. He's gone into programs where there was no programming. Like, let's keep it a buck.
I mean, his father is his father.
But check
Very
this out,
successful.
right? So you have this man, this black man, who's pouring into his son, and not only teaching his son the game, but he's teaching his son the psychological game as well. Now, do I feel like Shedeur has a bit of that touch what this young generation has of kind of instant gratification and I should already be? I think he does.
They all do.
But that's what I just said, right? It's a generation. It's not just because it's Shedeur. But realizing who his father is, I do believe he should handle things a bit more gracefully than he does, because of the fact that you are the son of prime time. So you being the son of prime time, and you have the talent like prime time, and you have the energy like prime time, you just don't have the years behind you to behave like prime time.
Well,
but you get what I'm saying to you?
Yes, it was definitely a humbling experience for him in the end. And I think from this point on, he has a lot of work ahead of him. I do think he's talented. He think he'll be great in the NFL. I think Cleveland's a good team for him, And the good thing about being drafted that late is that there's no pressure on him now. There's no pressure on him at all.
Did he lose? So help me out here, Goose, right? Because I'm about to be a girl for 3 seconds. When drafting happens, first round is the most money.
Oh, no doubt. You get
I don't know. So first
I'm
round,
not sure how much it is, but he lost anywhere from $50 to $60 million. Put it that way.
Holy Manoli.
Oh yeah.
So do you think let's say he played well in the sandbox?
Yeah.
Let's say he did do the combine. Let's say he did do all the interviews. Let's say he did the dog and pony show.
Mhm.
Do you think he would have made first round?
I do
Is he
think
that
so.
talented?
No, he is that talented. He should have went first round. I mean, the guy has been successful everywhere he went. And if you look at his numbers, I mean, no, he was one of the top quarterbacks in college football this year and the year before. So he should have definitely gone in the first round. Worst case scenario, I don't even want to say second. He's a first round draft pick.
When the first round happens, how many teams get that? All 50 teams, both sides?
Every team gets a chance to draft first. In the order, the worst teams in the league
get first at the
pick.
top, right?
Exactly.
So the idea is they get to rebuild their team and get good
Patriots
people.
finished fourth last year, so they got the fourth pick this year up until they lost. Actually, they were number one until they won that last game last year.
Okay.
So then other teams went ahead of them. So
I'm only asking, right? Because I can't be the only person listening that does not necessarily know how this all breaks down. Okay?
Oh yeah, it's a big deal.
So I find it fascinating. I do wonder too, right? If we're talking about, I think Dr. Umar has some points though too, because you know who put something out on this is that brother. What his last name is White. Ah, man, I can't think of his name.
Charleston White.
Thank you. And he was talking about how all the owners of these football teams are like 60, 70, 80-year-old white men. And then he's talking about that they send out these teams of people to go investigate who these kids are that they're about to put millions of dollars. He referred to it as, quote unquote, again, this is not my verbiage, this is his, the plantation. Right.
They've done that for years.
Right. But I'm saying, but the way Charles White broke it down, it was like you had no choice but to actually stop, take pause, and be like, wait a minute. Right. And then you think about how this is generating and what is this making and what is this doing, especially with the climate that we're in currently. What does this look like? And you're absolutely right. But this has been going on since the 60s, since the 70s. Basketball, same thing. Baseball, it's the same thing. It's just a different, baseball, you have more Dominicans and Cubans and Puerto Ricans in that space, where football has more African Americans in that space, right? And basketball, the same. But regardless, there's something to be said about the system that these kids are going into and the expectation because they're being bought. Right. And what does that look like? And what does that mean? So seeing this episode, this little blip happen, I do believe it's shining kind of a little bit of what's behind the screen or the door of the great Oz of when these things are happening and what it looks like and what the mentality is.
Yeah, that's professional sports, period. Even the basketball, baseball, that's what it is. I want to switch it up because again, we don't have a lot of time. I do want to I want to get in some Karen Reed because so here's the deal. A lot of people are tired of hearing about Karen Reed.
Not me.
But not me either. But here's the thing, right? When you watch it on the news, I mean, I get it. The news are bombarding you with what's going on, but the news is not giving you the highlights. It's not giving you the highlights of the trial, and they should be. They're the news, right? You want to know what's going on.
Sure.
But what's really happening, the news is biased. So the news will just they'll start out with Karen Reed on trial for killing her boyfriend. And then they show an excerpt from the prosecution, and then they show something minor or not even a highlight from the defense, or they won't show that at all. So the difference of what you hear on the news is way different from what we're going to talk about. So yesterday, Jennifer McCabe took the stand. Jennifer McCabe is the person that they're saying is the orchestrator of all of this.
The Apple Watch lady?
When
she the one with the Apple Watch that like she walked like almost 5 miles in a matter of 2.5 hours.
I'm not sure. But when it happened, when John O'Keefe was killed, all right, when it happened, Jen took over and she orchestrated everything. Now, she also was interviewed by the FBI. Now, I don't know if they talked about this on the news yesterday. I would imagine that this wasn't even part of their story. But let me just play you a clip from Alan Jackson, who was cross-examining her yesterday.
He called these officers back, correct?
Yes.
And you explained to them that you had been untruthful with them, correct?
I explained that I had forgotten to mention a couple of people that I had reached out to.
You had forgotten. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
You had forgotten. You remembered Matt and you remembered Carrie, but you had forgotten the others that you had just contacted maybe 30 minutes before.
Yes.
There were 5 people that you contacted, weren't there?
I contacted Matt.
Let's go through them. I'm just
Yeah.
asking yes or no. You know them?
I know 4 off the top of my head.
Okay, let's go through them.
Okay.
You contacted your husband, correct?
Yes.
You contacted Carrie Roberts, correct?
Yes.
You contacted Peggy O'Keefe, correct?
Yes.
Then, Ms. McCabe, you contacted the district attorney's office, correct?
My witness advocate.
The district attorney's office.
My witness advocate who works for the district attorney's
Thank
office.
you, Ms. McCabe.
Yes.
And you also left out that you contacted Brian Albert himself, correct?
Yes, my brother-in-law.
For some reason, your brother-in-law, who's the 30-year Boston police detective, correct?
Yes.
And on whose lawn John O'Keefe was found dead or dying. Objection.
I'll allow that.
Correct?
Yes.
Wow.
Could we just say she got one bad? Shut your mouth, legal
Listen.
team. Man.
Listen.
Them,
As far as I'm concerned,
Woo!
the case is over. There is so much
what a waste
reasonable.
of taxpayers'
Yes,
money.
what a waste of taxpayers' money. The case is over. There's just so much reasonable doubt everywhere.
I hope perjury gets pulled. I hope.
Listen,
I hope people get put under prisons
if
for this
they
nonsense.
don't convict her for whatever it is, man, I don't know what.
I would say they'd have to go after her for tampering. I think they would go after her for intimidation of witnesses. I think
they're going to throw the book at
they
her
have to.
anywhere they can.
They have to.
Now, perjury, I don't understand the difference between federal and state, but anywhere from 1 to 10 years you can get for perjury, right? Now, let's just go back to the FBI and some of those. So basically what happened was she was in a driveway and 2 men approached her and asked her, "Are you Jen McCabe?" And she said, "No, I'm Nicole." So she lied. First of all, I get that. 2 strangers come up to you. You don't know who they are. You're going to say, who are you?
Right.
They didn't identify themselves. So she went into the house, and then a few minutes later, she got a phone call, and they identified themselves as the FBI, and they said, "We want to sit down and talk to you." She says, "Give me 10 minutes," right? So finally, she lets them in the house, and they asked her, within those 10 minutes, did you make any phone calls? She said, "Yes. I called my husband, and I called Carrie Roberts, who was on the stand last week. Last week, Carrie was on the stand, and she was heartbroken because she thought Jen was a friend. She found out Jen was text messaging back and forth when Carrie was being interviewed inside the house. Jennifer was listening, and in the chat, she was saying she's telling everything. So that happened last week. So she said she called her husband, and she called Carrie, and that's it. But she lied. Right. She later on went back. I guess she got someone consult her and said, "Listen, you better call them because they already know who you called." Right. And then she called the FBI back and said, "Listen, I forgot to tell you. I also called Peggy O'Keefe, which is John O'Keefe's mother," which I don't understand that, except, John O'Keefe's mother is such a nice person that she's using her
as like an alibi.
Yes, she's using her the same way she used Carrie Roberts, right? She also called John Albert, the Boston police officer who owned the house and the property where John O'Keefe's body was found, the same property that he said he was sleeping with all the commotion, firefighters, sirens, police officers screaming. He never came outside his house. The same place where all of a sudden the ring footage disappeared. The same place where the dog disappeared. She called him, and she called the DA's office. Now, why would she call the DA's office unless the DA's in her pocket?
Isn't that something that's strange? Why would you? Not for nothing, right?
Right.
But why would you already have an advocate lined up unless there's something else going on?
And she made sure she said advocate.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a difference between an advocate and someone who works inside the office that may be helping guide you through something, like the DA's assistant or a chief of staff, right? But she said advocate,
Right.
which tells me now that at that moment of time, you are seen as the victim,
Right.
right? You're calling in the whole National Guard, basically, which is wild. But I think it's absolutely telling that, again, we go back to transparency. We go back to how is this time log really playing out? And then the next thing I want to just put out there for whatever it's worth, Goose, right? If you haven't noticed, the judge is not turning down the objections the same way she did the first time.
It's so
have you
obvious.
noticed? Have you noticed that?
Oh, yes.
Like before, they would say hachu, and she's like, objection.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's so
sustained.
obvious. And even the jury sees that. And you got to remember, they are all connected, including the judge. Who's the state selectman in Canton right now? He's in Albert. That's all I know. I can't
stop.
I think it's Chris Albert.
Stop.
He's the selectman, one of the selectmen on the board in Canton, right? So, and I can't remember when this happened, but I want to say a couple of years ago or a year ago or however long. No, it had to be a couple of years ago. He actually killed someone
with this
drunk driving.
Yes.
He was caught drunk driving. He was convicted, and he only served 6 months. And guess who was the judge?
Her.
Yes. So they're all connected.
Could you know what this kind of reminds me of? The Kennedys. A low-class budget, obviously, not the millions of dollars, but I'm talking about the connections politically and how having these types of connections politically can really help you.
Oh, no doubt.
In ensuring that you don't go underneath the prison.
They've been pulling strings for a long, long time. And, my thing is, wow, like, how many other cases have they gotten away with?
They're going to have, but listen, they're going to have to, listen, if anybody was involved and the guy who was the head investigator was somehow involved in that case.
Proctor,
correct.
Fired. By the way, he was fired.
Correct. Then I would automatically go look for a legal team that'd be willing to take my case on to find evidence had been tampered or withheld or smudged or fudged or whatever in my case, especially if I'm looking at real lifetime.
Let's go back to the FBI real quick. So for the FBI, who are highly involved in this case, right? I'm pretty sure they're sitting back and they're watching the trial, which is on as we speak.
Yes.
I think they already have the answers.
Oh, I do
and
too.
It's just about them putting it together. And because you talked about Boston police and state troopers and people in high places, it probably will be very difficult, although they got the best resources. And although I believe Proctor, and I said this from day one, he's going to be the snitch.
You think so? You think he'll be the patsy?
He probably already told. Like I said,
do you think he's in hiding? Do you think he's
No, he's not in hiding. He's probably.
I'm saying, do you think they'll put him into like that whole secret life where they ship you off? The FBI sends you off and you go.
I have no idea, but he's probably already cut a deal. And I think they have all the answers for them to show up and question Jen McCabe, who's been lying. And here's the thing, like, a liar when you're talking to one, right? If someone telling you is blowing smoke in your face, if it's smoke or not.
Absolutely.
In the FBI, they're not just new to all this. When they make moves, the moves are already determined by the answers that they already have.
Yes.
So everything that's going, Jen is yesterday. I mean, she perjured herself so bad yesterday to the point where her demeanor changed from when she walked into the courtroom by the time she left. If you just look at the body language, the eyes, the lips, and everything, and how she was, oh man, this is tough for her. But this is why when you tell a lie, just stop it right there. Don't add on to it, or better yet, don't lie at all.
How about we just don't kill people,
especially
and how about wait? And I say this every time, and I'm gonna die on this cross. Poor Snoopy. What did Snoopy ever do to anybody but protect whoever his
the
owner?
dog did? The dog did his job.
That's what I'm saying. I know his name isn't Snoopy, but I just call him Snoopy.
Yeah. Whatever the master tells you to do,
he did it.
Pet, he did it.
And here's my thing. I know they quote unquote rehomed him. I think they took his life. Because if he had really been rehomed, that means that somebody would have took a cast of his teeth.
Right.
No one is, and I can't imagine.
Oh no, the dog is gone.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And
the dog went to the farm.
Yeah,
quote
and I've been
unquote.
saying that for a long time.
I don't think he was rehomed.
Yeah.
I think he got gone to doggy heaven, because wherever he is, if he was in Wisconsin, Miami, wherever, I believe that legal team that Karen Reed has would have went to find the dog and had molds made of the dog's teeth.
That
to
dog
then
is
check,
buried somewhere.
right? To then check to see whether or not the arm wounds matched. You know what I mean? So then you're telling me that you felt the need. I'm going to sell my house. But before, and you're a real estate agent, so I know you know what you're talking about. And when I ask this question, right? Have you ever had somebody say to you, I'm going to sell my house, but I'm going to pull up all the concrete in my basement and re-pour it before I sell it?
Not just once.
Twice.
But twice. And not just that, right? The other thing is,
that's not normal, right?
Here's the other thing. He sold his house for less than market value.
So it was a quick sale.
It was a very quick sale. And in Canton, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you sell your house for less than what it really was worth? You know, and they wanted the fast sale, and they got rid of it months after what happened.
Would you really want to live there, though?
I mean,
I'm just saying,
but I mean,
I don't know.
I'm just talking about what they did.
No, I know what they did, but I'm just saying, whoever. I mean, it must. I mean, everything's public record, like sales of houses and all that.
Whoever bought it,
got a deal.
Yeah,
they had to have gotten a deal.
Whoever bought it knew they was buying it from a Boston police officer. They probably didn't know the specifics of everything that happened
Because it was still too new.
Yeah, they probably just believed what the guy said. Yeah, my friend died. and she did it. And boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So when you watch it on TV, they don't give you all this stuff right here. Now, I'm going to play another clip. This guy's name is Ian Whiffen. He did all the phone research in terms of
he was the auditor.
His background is to do research.
Okay.
You know, whether it's phone data, the amount of steps, like when you're walking with your phone is a witness to everything you do.
Yeah.
It records the steps you take. Heat, all kinds of stuff. So let me just play an excerpt of what happened in court with him yesterday, who also was lying.
Ever have a conversation with Trooper Nick Dorito about the distance from the flagpole to the front door of 34 Fairview?
Maybe.
So is it maybe then you had a conversation with him in which he stated to you that distance is 72 feet?
It's maybe.
So if we go back to what we were discussing earlier about the steps and the distance covered, and this is in your report of March 2025, where we've talked about this. Final health activity of note on John's phone could be seen to have occurred between 12:31:56 and 12:32:16, during which 36 steps were recorded, covering a distance of 5.4 meters, or 84 feet. 84 feet is greater than 72 feet, correct?
Correct.
So if the distance from the flagpole to the front of the house is 72 feet, and your report notes 36 steps covering a distance of 84 feet, that would put those steps within the house, correct?
It would.
So, so let me just explain to you what was happening there and what actually happened, okay? So basically, he removed a specific piece of data from the report, which was the distance, right? The whole time along, they were saying...
Wait, so people understand, the state...
Correct.
The state's expert did this.
Right. This is the state's expert.
This
is the prosecution's
right.
It's
being cross-examined
by Alan. He wasn't Alan Jackson. That was Robert Alessi, attorney Robert Alessi. So the whole time they've been saying that John O'Keefe never entered the house. He wasn't in the house. So the reason why these steps are important, because 72 feet does not place him in the house. That data was removed, right? Oh no, I'm sorry. The correct data was he tried to remove it at some point. And the original or the real steps was not 72 feet. But in fact, It was 84 feet,
right? Yeah.
It was 84 feet,
Yeah.
which places him where?
Places him right there in the corner, and somehow he turned off his phone.
No, it places him
Inside the
the
house.
house.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Inside
the
the
whole
house, in the
time,
corner, yeah.
they're lying, saying that he was
never even made it out inside
in
the
the house.
house.
So their own witness confirmed that it was not 72 feet and it was 84 instead. And they tried to admit that, and they weren't successful at it. So, and that's what they're not showing you on television. So when you say you're tired of it because they're giving you the same stuff, which is the narrative of she did it. Now, I don't know. I don't have any skin in the game. I don't know Karen Reed at all. Right. I just happen to follow it because I think it's interesting. If it was a movie, it'd be one of those programs people would watch because you would see and hear all the details of it. But truth of the matter is, Karen Reed didn't do it.
That part.
She didn't do it.
But she would have been the great fall person had she not had the moxie and the stamina.
Yeah, if she didn't have the finances, she'd be in jail already.
It'd been done. This would have been done. This would have been done.
But here's the thing too, right? A lot of folks don't like Karen Reed, and they don't like her for the reasons of I don't like how she looks. I don't like how she smiles. I don't like her demeanor. She's not appealing.
But people are gonna people are funny and fickle, right?
Right.
Everyone loves an underdog, usually, right? In the story. There's always going to be people that they're just miserable human beings. And miserable human beings do say and do miserable things. So to not like someone solely because of a smile or a smug, it's because it's your perception of how you are receiving whatever the information is that's happening, right? So you have individuals.
And I'm sorry, that picture was painted.
Well, no,
by the media.
Of course, right? Because the picture was painted prior to her even before the trial even started. If we look back at how it was being reported,
right,
allegedly, right? As long as they add allegedly prior to whatever the statement is going to be after, it's not something you could be sued for because you're not making an accurate statement as far as directed towards whoever you're speaking about, right? So as long as I say that Puff Daddy, as long as I don't say Puff Daddy ABCXYZ, and instead I say allegedly, now we're good. So I think this is what it is. But absolutely, she's gonna make her money back, then some. I mean, it's gonna be wild.
Right. Urban Heat, who's this?
Hello,
Urban Heat, who's this?
That's wild.
Yeah. All right. So the perception of that the media put out there, a lot of folks don't like her. A lot of folks don't like her, and I'm just gonna say, just because you don't like how she looks doesn't mean that doesn't make her guilty. In fact, with all the evidence, she didn't do it.
Oh, she absolutely didn't.
Now, you and I, and most people listening, we know game when we see game.
Absolutely.
Right? And this is the biggest game on live television right now. And it's a cover-up from people in law enforcement. And
it's scary. I'm gonna be if we're being totally transparent about what this really all means. To me, Goose, it's scary. It's scary because when people hold these positions, whether it's politicians, whether it's police, whether it's stadies, whether it's a CO, whatever this looks like, right? We're entrusting that you hold a value system in place that is operating for a society that we all have collectively agreed is acceptable versus what's not acceptable, right? Also, what's heartbreaking, and I understand it's not a direct connection, but there are players from the Karen Reed space that make it a direct connection, where a young lady was murdered, and her murder was framed to be a suicide to hide a pregnancy, and she had been groomed since she was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old by a police cadet program officer who, again, the officers involved, one of them is the gentleman who has lost since job, as was the lead investigator in the space, because where did it happen? Canton.
Right. He was the lead investigator.
Gracious.
The same person that was fired as well.
I really hope, and I can't imagine that it wouldn't happen, that this young lady would receive justice. Because the truth of the matter is she didn't take her life. I have a hard time believing that. What I do believe happened is this cop wanted no parts of this baby. And she said, it's my body. I'm going to do what I want. And he didn't like that idea. And these guys set it up to look that way. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it's a direct correlation to what Karen Reed is experiencing, which was originally, I don't think she was going to be the fall person. I really don't think so. But because she behaved the way she did, once they found him and the things that she was saying, right? If I'm in shock, did I kill him? Could I have killed him? Oh my God, I killed him? She wasn't saying, if you really listen to how, because I rewound this on the HBO docuseries a few times.
She was responding, and this is the thing about
the
TV.
thing, and they twisted it.
This is the thing about television and biased opinions, right? She was responding to a question. That was her response. Did I kill him? No, I'm sorry. She didn't say that. Did I hit him? I hit him. I hit him. You know, so listen, man, this is a major black eye to law enforcement, period. We all know there's some great men and women out there that serves the public and they do it the right way.
Absolutely.
But this is on a whole nother level. This is all criminal. This is a major problem. This is a big problem, a big black eye. I'm sure the governor is like, listen, fix it. Fix it.
Well, not only is it,
and she's going to jail.
You know what it is?
And I'm talking about Jennifer McCabe. She's definitely going to jail.
Absolutely. I think everybody in that house, because we still aren't talking about how the son was ushered out.
And they did that on purpose.
Of course.
And the judge, Beverly, made it so that they could not bring
him
son
in.
up.
I saw that.
I can promise you that he's already been questioned by the FBI, and he's probably at the top of the list somewhere is probably the person that gave him the blow to his head. It was either him or his father.
Somebody.
Yeah, one of those two gave him that blow in the back of the head. You know?
And then you just think about concrete in a basement. I'm assuming it must have been like the man cave.
Yeah.
Like that's how I envision it. Not that I've seen any pictures or anything, but I'm envisioning, right? If a bunch of people have been drinking and they're going to continue, quote unquote, the party, right, at somebody's house, right? Where are you going to congregate? In the man cave. Why? Because the man cave usually has a bar, right? So if it's downstairs, whether there's carpet or tile or whatever, there's concrete under all that. Blood has an amazing way of seeping into spaces that you can't get it out of things, right? So what do? You rip it up.
You rip it up.
You rip it up.
Not once, but just to
twice.
make sure you got it all, do it again.
Twice.
Do it again. All right, so we're about to get on out of here.
Yeah.
We're going to do this again. But here's what Karen Reed had to say to reporters after the trial yesterday.
Change in demeanor? I didn't notice.
The last trial.
I did not notice.
How did you feel? Karen, did you tell Jen to make that Google search that morning?
I did not. I did not tell Jen to make a Google search. I certainly didn't tell her to make the one at 227 either.
What stood out to you most today?
We know all the details. We know all the changes in statements. It's just what will her reaction be, and it's just more of the same. Inconsistencies. Every statement's different. Under oath, not under oath. With the cops are all wrong. This is very similar to what we saw a year ago.
Do you think that she colluded with? Why is she so inconsistent?
Because she's lying.
Do you think she colluded?
Thank you.
Do you think she?
Now that smirk right there is what people don't like. The smirk when she said, "I definitely didn't make the call at 2 a.m. in the morning either." Now, first of all, so what? So what? She got a smirk on her face. She's on trial for her life. Now, as part of getting you off the case, maybe you should work on a few things, but I'm not holding any of that. I'm just indicating why people don't like her.
I'm surprised. I mean, look, if we're being totally transparent, I can't imagine the level of mental duress this woman is under daily. We're not talking about probably the hate mail, the threats, that she had to sell her house. Like these are all accomplishments as a single woman that she was able to complete. She may she may be the worst person in the world.
Right.
Okay. but that doesn't mean she killed somebody.
Right, no doubt.
You get what
No
I'm
doubt.
saying? You may not want to be best friend. There's a lot of people walking around that I don't want to be friends with that I call quote unquote associately people I know from wherever, right? It doesn't mean I'm inviting you over to my house, but it doesn't mean that I want to see you burn at the stake because you did something that you didn't do.
No doubt.
Like, I mean, there are miserable people that just want to create misery in spaces because the idea that there's anything else but that. It's like when you see a parent grieving, some people say, why isn't she crying? Why isn't the mother crying? Or she should be crying too much, or she's crying way too much. Why is she being so dramatic? Who are we to say how somebody processes grief? And even the fact that she's on trial, there's still grief happening. She lost her boyfriend who she'd been dating for 2 years. I don't care that you might have been fighting. Who doesn't have fights with your partner?
Right.
Who doesn't?
Yep. And we're going to end it on that note. We out of here.
That part.
Tap time at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry, 1 o'clock. Tap will be in. Also, my man Dita Weeda, a.k.a. Dr. Love, he's having a super gigantic event coming up.
I'm not surprised.
On Sunday,
it's Dita
May
Weeda.
25th. It's the Zodiac party. So,
and he said he's bringing Geminis to a whole nother level.
Listen,
let me tell you, Dita Weeda's in
Sagittarius
the house.
is going to own the party.
No.
Know.
You know what?
Yeah.
Listen. Dita got me on his way out the door. Shout out to Dita Weeda. The Leos.
Right.
Because our season is coming. So I got to do a Leo. Are you gonna put out a video?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do a video.
Do a video for him? Yeah, I think I'm gonna put a Leo video out for him. I'm gonna call out my Leos.
So look forward to that. We got to go again. Tap time 1 o'clock today. We'll do it again.
Absolutely.
Later, thanks for tuning in.
Peace, love, and hair grease.
All right. Just in the past year, we're in a different world from 1 year ago.
How the system is going to have to reset. And for it to reset, it's going to have to do what?
Look at the stock market, the crypto market. It's going through what they call accelerationism.
Let's face it, if you're smoking 2 packs a day and you're 300 pounds.
Angie Stone even talked about it before passing, about not receiving the money that she was owed for.
That kind of falls under that submissive thing. So it's not so much about being obedient, but being submissive enough with your partner to.
We have a song on the album called "Are You Mad at Me?" And
are you still mad?
Are you still mad at me?
Manny does credit good. Allow him to do that. You're a DJ and a radio personality. Stick to that. Stick to selling houses.
Legit. I had no money, right? I was 23 years old, just out of college, and I wanted to get in. I had linked up with one of my buddies.
Uptown is basically Harlem. That's what we used to call Harlem. We didn't call Harlem back in the day. We used to call it Uptown.
How do you help these kids to redirect that thinking?